Welcome back to part 3 of Into the Breach on Unfair with ye olde Hazardous Mechs. We are on to our third corporate island here. We've got the mechs on screen. We got Ralph in the Leap Mech with a Titanite Blade and Conservative, which is going to be a nice little combo. We've got the Unstable Mech with a Self-Destruct and decent upgrades. And then finally we have Rosie Rivets with an upgraded Viscera Nanobots passive, so that we will not be so heavily punished for the +1/+1 damage and self-damage upgrade on the Unstable Cannon. Now, for my next island, we have a choice. We've got Pinnacle Robotics with the Spiderling Scion, or RST with Tumblebugs and Diggers. And at this juncture, I did not think I had a solid answer to Diggers. If I could upgrade the Titanite Blade further, then I at least have a potential option against Diggers. I could attack on the diagonal and, kind of one-shot them. So, in the meantime, rather than tackle that very difficult prospect, we go with Pinnacle Robotics as our third island. This late into a run, I'm really starting to hope that I can get a snowball going. We struggled. We had a rough first couple of islands here. And we've got limited options right off the bat. We have our mandatory mission at Glacier Cliff. But fortunately, it's not too bad. It's just, take less than 3 grid damage, protect the power plant, and then this is the mission variety where no new enemies will spawn. They all just kind of start frozen, and 2 at a time will de-thaw. So, with that in mind, it doesn't even look like the Op 4 is that terrible. We've got a couple of baseline starfish, an alpha blobber, an alpha scarab, a regular scorpion, and then the rest are 1 HP robot enemies. So I am feeling pretty confident that we should be able to get through this okay, even if this map seed is a little bit claustrophobic. And we're also fortunate to get our first time pod drop of the island, the first of 2. But we gotta get that time pod right away because the starfish is about to destroy it. Or we can just destroy the starfish, which we summarily do. Now, the issue here is if I don't do anything, the Blobber Bomb will free 3 enemies, and then at the end of the turn, 2 more enemies will dethaw, so we'll be facing a 6v3 unless I can do something about this. So it looks like what I elect to do is I'm going to let the robots roam free, and then the Blobber Bomb will destroy the starfish for us. Or no, do I just Titanite Blade them? That maybe is the better call. Then I don't have to worry about any further Blobber Bomb nonsense for the remainder of the mission. Okay. So we will be looking at a 4v3 on our next turn. But because 2 of these enemies will be the robots, we are hoping to dispatch them quickly. I think the best solution here would be to use the Leap Mech to destroy the robots, push the Scarab with the Nano Mech, and then kill the Scorpion with the Unstable Mech. And that is exactly what transpires. I elect to fire from the forest tile just to light it on fire first to dissuade enemies from moving there. Although that's extremely unlikely because now we've only got 2 enemies left on the board. So maybe I was just feeling a little fancy. That will be a clean board wipe with 1 turn to spare. So, easy. Easy game, easy life. We're off to a strong start. Let's hope that I can keep it up. At less than 5 minutes into the run. We get a reactor core, and that's, you know, that's perfectly fine. I think I'm going to go for the damage upgrade on the Titanite blade. Big damage. The Leap Mech has sufficient mobility on its own with the hydraulic legs that I'm not too worried about it. So our next, we've got some choices now. We've got kill 7 enemies, protect the cannon bot, and destroy the hacking facility. And then I believe the other option is to break 5 buildings out of the ice and kill 2 egg sacs. I was not feeling the destroy the hacking facility mission because, you know, my options for non-lethally handling the enemy robot until we can get it under control is somewhat limited. You know, my only non-damaging push is the nanomech's acid projector. A little bit limited in scope. Granted, the shield generator was very close to the enemy side of the board, and I think the enemy is sometimes will attack it, so maybe my luck would have been okay. Instead, I elect to do the kill 7 enemies and protect the coal plant, because we've got 3 robots on the board. That is a very easy 3 of 7. We just need to kill 4 more Vec. And we have a pair of alpha starfish and the irritating arachnid scion. Fortunately, it will not, you know, the robots are not affected by scions. So we won't be having eggs to deal with when we destroy the roboids. So we have 4 threats to the grid. And 3 actions to do something about it. Ah, there we go. That's a good solve. This sets up the Titanite blade for maximum clean sweeping. We just leave a egg behind, but that's okay. Sadly, spiderlings do not count against the kill 7 enemies limit, which is a bit of a bummer. Otherwise, we'd be living on Easy Street. So we've got a non-alpha blobber, a somewhat rare sight in my experience. And we have 3 threats to the grid. That'll take care of the scion with some bump damage. So that's mission accomplished. That's our 7 kills. We're looking down a functional 2v3 for our penultimate turn, so we're going to have to deal with a lot of new spawns coming in. And there's the power of the diagonal with the Titanite blade, although I'm considering maybe saving it for the final turn, as we're going to be having a lot more hostiles to deal with shortly. Get a little bit of rosy value. So now we have a 5v3 for our final turn. Could get a little hectic. But we have sufficient tools, I believe, to deal with our threats. Nanomech can push the Firefly, Titanite Blade can kill the other Firefly, and then I believe Self-Destruct will account for those Scarabs. One nice thing about the way that the Nano or the Viscera nanomachines work is you get healed per enemy you kill. So with the 2 HP per kill upgrade, destroying 2 enemies will recover 4 health. I don't often upgrade the Viscera nanobots on my playthroughs with the Hazardous Mechs, but I was very pleased with the performance of it on this run. I might want to consider more heavily upgrading it in the future and then doing the +1/+1 damage and self-damage upgrade. It might be a better strategy than I was originally giving it credit for. So we have 3 mission choices available to us. And freeze and defend both robots is usually pretty player-sided. You get the, that 4th friendly action on your side. And this map seed is nice and clear. The Hazardous Mechs will have lots of space to move, and I think there will be less chance of collateral damage. So I am considering District Z1101. I wonder if that means anything in binary. Post in the comments if you speak binary. We've also still got the break 5 buildings out of the ice mission, but I think that one's almost that one's usually really easy. So I go with this one to see what the final mission on the eastern side of the map will be, and whether or not it's going to be worth my time. So we've got a pair of robots, a pair of alpha scorpions, a starfish, and a blobber. I am deploying my mechs in such a way to hopefully bait the starfish and bait the artillery robot, as it will attack on a 3-tile in a row ranged attack. And then I'll just have to deal with the scorpions, but that's just that's the price of doing business. So the artillery robot bait was successful, but the starfish bait was not successful. I was also pretty confident that the blobber bomb would be deployed there. The idea behind that's why I put the unstable mech there, was that it could shoot whatever was in front of it and then destroy the blobber bomb on the recoil. The risk here is, even though I've successfully baited the artillery robot, it is still a pink robot. There are 2 varieties, basically, of the robots on Pinnacle. There are the blue ones that only do 1 damage with their attacks, and then there's the pink ones that do 3. So the unstable mech will be taking, some pretty significant damage. And I also have to heavily consider where I'm going to be positioning the leap mech, because it can kill the starfish for us, but it will not survive the artillery. So I can kill that starfish, freeze that robot, and then Ralph will be fine. And thanks to the self-healing from destroying the blobber bomb, the unstable mech will survive getting hit by the artillery robot. So that was a relatively successful first turn. We have a 4v3 on our next turn, with 1 more robot to freeze. I believe we're going to do the same song and dance with the unstable mech. Its recoil pushing itself backwards is a very handy solution for things like blobber bombs or spiderling eggs. And there we have a nice solve. It is a small kindness that the blobber bombs count as an enemy for purposes of Viscera Nanobots self-healing. So mission is accomplished as long as we can keep those robots on ice. And now we are down to a 3v4, my favor. I make a interesting little sacrifice play here, because we're on the penultimate turn. So any spawns that we block are, not going to bother us for the remainder of the mission. So I freeze that starfish, and then I will be losing the little freeze tank. It's a bit of an extravagance. But, it's one more spawn that I don't have to worry about. So we will have a clean board for our final turn, and that is mission accomplished. So things are going pretty smoothly so far. We have one more mission before our boss fight. So the final mission on this side is to destroy the shield generator. And I was not, again, that's a troublesome mission. As nice as it would be to get a bonus power core, I would rather take the safer bet, which is breaking 5 buildings out of the ice and destroying 2 Vec egg sacs. Oh, I just experienced an earthquake while recording. That's disconcerting. I live in Southern California. So sometimes we get a little shaky, get a little shaken. There's our second time pod of the island. So with this mission type, you have this weird little benefit of just kind of letting the enemy do whatever they want. They will destroy the ice for you in most circumstances. So I'm kind of free to just kind of do whatever I want. But, it is also important to try and keep enemy numbers managed. We go ahead and recover the time pod while we've got the actions to spare. So we will have 2 out of our 5 buildings freed from the ice. And on this next turn, we have 2 enemies to deal with. 3 rather. And there's more Titanite Blade value. I don't want to deal with any Scorpion nonsense if I don't have to. So we didn't really get much progress done on breaking buildings free, but now we don't have to worry about any more egg sacs. I'm not sweating it too bad. This juncture, we can let that scarab do what it wants to do. And I have a free action to at least start my shattering. So that's 3 out of 5. The Scarab will be getting us to 4 out of 5. We've got 1 more turn to break at least 1 more building free. And we will have 4 enemies to contend with. But I'm not too concerned. And indeed, it's more like 3, because the Arachnid Scion is incapable of contributing anything noteworthy to the remainder of the mission. So really, the only thing we have to worry about is that Alpha Scorpion. And that is GG. So we are on to the boss fight on Pinnacle, and so far it's been a completely perfect island. No destroyed grid buildings, no failed objectives. I'm definitely starting to feel, you know, that comfortable mastery of my domain. You know, the damage upgrade on the Unstable Mech is really paying off. The upgraded damage on the Titanite Blade is also paying good dividends. And then we get Silica with Skilled. Silica is a potentially very powerful pilot, and I am inclined to replace one of my pilots at this point, because 2 of them have Invulnerable, and Invulnerable is kind of wasted at this juncture, you know, with the upgraded self-healing. So what I wind up doing is I replace Cinnabar, I believe their name was, with Silica in the Unstable Mech. Actually, wait, I might switch things around. Because Rosie is a good fit for the Nano Mech. Okay, so we've got Silica in the Unstable Mech. I think the idea was this would help give Silica some extra XP, and we maintain Ralph with the Conservative on the Titanite Blade. We've got triple Scorpions to deal with, including the Scorpion Leader. So I'm going to deploy the Unstable Mech in such a way that the Scorpion Leader will try to attack it, and then I can just give it the Bamboozle and immediately destroy it with Self-Destruct. The rest of the Opt 4, I just position myself so that I'm not going to get webbed by the other Scorpions, if possible. And then I'll just have to worry about wherever that Blobber wants to deploy its payload. As predicted, the Scorpion goes for the bait. Scorpion Leader, rather. The 3 other Ground Pounders are en route, so we just have to worry about the Blobber Bomb. There is mission accomplished, and a nice XP payout for Silica. And then I might as well just clean up one of these Scorpions. And we have a nice clean first turn. 4v3 for the next round. I usually enjoy this map seed as well. I find it to be largely player-sided. Using our advanced technique there. I think that could have been done maybe a little bit differently. If I would have, that was a little bit suboptimal. I could have done it in such a way that Silica would have gotten XP. But it's fine. It's not really worth wasting a temporal reset for. 4v3 for the next turn. They really do enjoy letting the Unstable Mech get its 2-for-1s. We take it. Then we have to... What we can do is we can just block the Alpha Firefly's attack. We can use the Blobber to our advantage. There we go. And then use them delicious water tiles, and we are on to the final round. It'll be a nice clean 3v3. And it's looking like a perfect island, finally. all we have to do at this point is let Silica get a little bit more experience. And we are on to our rewards. You love to see it. You love to see an island go by quickly. So we've got the Push Beam and Bethany Jones with Conservative. So I pick Bethany as her abilities will replicate essentially what Ralph is providing for us, with some extra benefits added on top. So I wind up putting Bethany into the Unstable Mech. Conservative lets us get multiple uses out of Self-Destruct. She also starts every round with a shield. Not every round, every mission with a shield. I wind up putting Silica in the Leap Mech. And then we will take a look at what's available in the shop. I was not feeling any of the equipment. Instead, I wind up just selling one of my pilots and buying 3 power cores. Who do I wind up selling? Is it Ralph? I think it's Ralph. And then we keep Cinnabar on our bench in case we need that +1 reactor core. Thank you for your service, Ralph. Of the weapons that were available for purchase, the smoke bombs is an interesting tool that I might consider trying to showcase in the future. I also enjoy putting Silica in the Leap Mech because if you upgrade Silica with its inherent passive ability, you can do a double leap, which is a very interesting maneuver. I don't know if it really comes up that often during this playthrough, but you know, a pilot with skilled is useful. So that'll bring us to our final island before the volcanic hive. Join us next time. Like and subscribe.